Hey y'all, welcome back to my vlog. My name is Lamethea Denise, and today is a different type of vlog. Today I'm sharing a personal journey with you, which will be my hysterectomy journey. So, if this is something that you're interested in, stay tuned. All right, you guys, so let's just get into it. If you guys see me looking up this way, that's because I'm looking at my iPad to make sure I kind of like stay on the subject because I can start babbling and going on. But anyway, that's why you might see me start looking up that way. So back to the background information. What made me make the decision to start this hysterectomy journey? Well, let me give you a little background. So again, my name is Lamethea Denise. I am 45 years old. I'm a school teacher. I have two sons that was delivered by C-section. They are now 23 and 25. Now, when I was younger, in my 20s or whatever, my cycle was regular. It was kind of like a 45 days for the cycle. And then it changed about 3 years ago. When it changed 3 years ago, it went from 45 days to 5 to 7 days. So I'm kind of like, hold up, what's going on, boo? So I decided to go ahead and go to the doctor. And when I went to the doctor, they said, they sent me for my first ultrasound. Now, my first ultrasound showed some small fibroids, like 3 small fibroids. And I was like, well, this is why you have those changes. You have a couple of fibroids, and the bleeding has increased, clotting has increased, starting to have more cramps. So that's the reason. Now, a year ago, was that a year ago? Oh yeah, I want to say a year ago. Um, those cycles picked up and they started becoming a little unbearable. Now my cycles went from 5 to 7 to 7 to 10 days, and that right there, that was kind of like, okay, well now we need to pump the brakes and figure out what's going on. We need to start getting some medicine or whatever. So went for my ultrasound, and again, it showed the fibroids. The fibroids had got just a little bit bigger, but not too much where it needed surgery or anything like that. So they was like, well, what do you want to do? So I decided, like I said a year ago, to go ahead and get an IUD. I got that IUD May 2nd. Now, with getting the IUD, I I bled for probably about 15 to 20 days. I thought that this was something normal that happens when you get an IUD. I didn't kind of like think anything about it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm bleeding for about 2 weeks. And then I was like, well, it's time for my cycle to come back on. So, kind of make that was 3 weeks. And then so, hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I stay on course. Um, I had a doctor's appointment because I am anemic, and I had a doctor's appointment coming up in August. I want to say in August. Yeah, in August. And the doctor had asked me, hey, well, how's everything going? How's your cycle? I was like, well, honestly, my cycle picked back up. It's like nothing has ever changed. My first time I had the IUD, I was fine. But now it's kind of like, I don't really know what's going on. So he examined me. He says, well, I can't find the string. So he sent me for an x-ray to locate the string. And lo and behold, no IUD. I didn't notice that the IUD had came out. It was just, it was what it was. But again, I didn't notice that those cramps had picked back up. So anyway, so after I got the results back from the ultrasound, the doctor asked me, hey, what would you like to do? Would you like to get that IUD replaced back? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, when we place the IUD, we'll also give you some birth control to last you for a month. And hopefully that'll also slow down your bleeding and your clotting and things that you have. So when is that? I want to say, let's see, September. So in September, I had that other IUD put in with the birth control, but again, no luck. Y'all, that IUD came out. So, we're thinking, okay, with the birth control, that'll come down the cycle or whatever. But y'all, I bled. I was just bleeding, bleeding, and bleeding. So again, I'm thinking that this is normal. So September, I'm bleeding, and here comes October knocking on the door. Now, mind y'all, I told y'all September, I want to say September 20th to be exact, I had got that IUD put in. Now, here come October. Now, October, I'm still bleeding. But y'all, October 6th, y'all, that's when like the floodgates open up. I'm like, man, what is going on? Sorry, y'all, my watch is going off. I'm like, what's going on? The floodgates just open up. When I tell you heavy bleeding, heavy cramping, I mean all of the above. Damn, all of the above. So, that 6th, I think I want to say that was a Monday, maybe. But that IUD came out, I actually seen it with my own eyes. So I'm like, okay, here comes the severe cramping, the clotting, the nonstop bleeding. Y'all, I was going through a pad an hour. I was like, well, this was the weekend, and I had a doctor's appointment that Monday. So I was like, well, let me just wait and see what's going on. I didn't. I had a little dizziness, but didn't think nothing about it. A little headache going on, but kind of like just rubbed it off. I'm like, all right. It is what it is. So I went to my primary care doctor for a wellness, just a regular wellness visit, and I told her my experience. So she did the visit. She was like, well, let me send you for an emergency blood work for your hemoglobin. So did the hemoglobin came back at a 6. So she was like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and send you on over to the hospital so that you can get a blood transfusion, but we really need to find out where this bleeding is coming from. So she sent me over to Emory Piedmont in Decatur. No, not Emory Piedmont. Emory Hospital, that's in Decatur. So I went there, and there I received my blood transfusion. I also got an estrogen treatment that was in my IV. Y'all, my hemoglobin only went up to 7.1. They released me that next morning, probably around like 11. They was like, well, it's up a little bit. You're not having any dizziness. So we just going to monitor you and just follow up with your doctor. Now, this was Monday. Was that Monday? This was Monday when I left from the hospital. That Friday, I had already scheduled a doctor's appointment because I was bleeding with the OBGYN. So they changed that appointment to make it an endometrium biopsy appointment. Now, I had got an endometrium biopsy done when I want to say maybe like 3 years previous to that, when I first came to them for the excessive bleeding. Here, during that time, when that first endometrium biopsy, it showed that I had polyps. So, the doctor was also telling me, well, that could be another reason why you're having the bleeding as well. Okay, so again, like I told you guys, my hemoglobin had only went up to 7.1, but while I was in the hospital, I had talked to the OBGYN, on-call OBGYN doctor. So I went ahead and asked her, hey, is a hysterectomy an option for me? Because, me and ChatGPT had already had a conversation over the night. Since I was there and I had nothing to do. So, I just became, me and ChatGPT, we just got close, and I started putting in labs and started telling ChatGPT, hey, baby, this is what's going on. What were we doing? So, the OBGYN, she gave me my options, which was to be on birth control probably for, the rest of my life or something similar to that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not an option. And then she also told me about the option as far as like, what is that? I can't remember the procedure where they kind of like burn the endometrium lining and that should stop the bleeding or something similar to that. you know, that was the option. But again, me and ChatGPT had already made the decision about what was going on while I was in the hospital. So, you know, yeah, no, let's go ahead and skip this and let's go. So anyway, it decision time. So that decision had already been made. So here comes Friday. So that Friday I went to my appointment, and in my appointment again, like I had already told you, I had already made the decision about what I was doing. Now the doctor had went ahead and changed my appointment that I had previously scheduled for Friday. She made that appointment to be an endometrial biopsy, since she had seen in my chart that I had a previous endometrial biopsy and it showed polyp. Um, but that's kind of like how that visit got. But again, like I told you, I had already made a decision because me and ChatGPT had already had that talk. And yeah, I'm 45. Me and the uterus is not seeing eye to eye. So since me and the uterus is not seeing eye to eye, and we're not agreeing, and I'm 45, and who is having a baby at this age? I mean, tag, not I. So, you know, I'm kind of like, well, let's just go ahead and move on to the next one. So, decision had been made. And when I went to that doctor, I told them, hey, this is what I want. So let's move on. So at the appointment, when I had the endometrium done, she went ahead and drew the blood again, and those labs came back that my hemoglobin had went up to an 8. So that's kind of like where we at with that in particular. So all right, so that brings us to the end of this video. So again, just this quick little couple of months is what has brought me to the decision that, hey, I want to get a hysterectomy. What are we doing? What we doing? Because again, me and the uterus is not seeing eye to eye. Me and her not rocking together no more. So it's time for her to go. Um, but you guys, if you are interested in this journey, don't forget to hit that like and definitely subscribe. Hit that notification button so that you can catch the next vlog that I put up. All right, talk to you guys later.